Good evening and welcome to Roma Theory. Lecce nil, Roma nil. What the actual fuck was that? What did we just witness? What was that all about? And why did we play like that today? I mean, these questions are gonna be questions which, look, I tell you what, they're gonna be unanswerable for the next years because today's game, my friends, I don't want to sound dramatic, but today's game is the worst game that I've seen Roma play since we signed Paulo Dybala. And look, I always tend to exaggerate post-match because it's always like that heat post-match. But today's game, the level in today's game was ridiculous. Some of these players today need to look at themselves in the mirror and go, what did I just do? How did I just play? Because it's unjustifiable. Today's game is ridiculous. Today's game can cost us Champions League football. Are we all aware of this, Roma fans? Roma Theory fans, Roma fans in general, are we aware that we could have and might have bottled Champions League football because of this fucking game? Because look at that calendar now, my friends. It's tough to be a Roma fan. I bet you what, look, shout out to everybody who thought that they were going to have a peaceful Easter or Easter Monday, and then you realize Roma plays. That was exactly me. I'm back from France, enjoyed my weekend in Marseille, went to watch the Le Classique, Marseille against PSG. I'm back in Rome. Yes, I can't wait. My Easter holidays just started. Easter was yesterday. Let me go back, see my family. Let's watch Roma all together. Boom, done. Easter ruined. We're back where we're back. Our mind is back where it needs to be because this game is worrying. This game is very worrying. But let's break this down. I mean, look, I followed the game. I was in a plane a few hours ago, but I landed during minute 1 and watched until minute 90, and there was not 1 minute in today's game where I actually thought Roma could score. There wasn't 1 minute in today's game where I thought Roma controlled the game, where I think Roma were good at passes, controlling the game, increasing the intensity. No. Today we were lucky. Today we were lucky, but on the negative lucky side, because what was lucky today is that they were terrible at finishing and not clinical enough. Because if that Banda guy had, proper feet instead of triangular feet, today we would have lost 3-0. We would have lost 3-0 if Lecce was actually capable of finishing and putting the ball at the back of the net. If Banda and Kristovic had proper feet and proper technique instead of kind of pentagon-shaped feet, then today we would have lost. And losing, being dominated by Lecce, who, frankly speaking, only won 2 games in their last 13 games, is utter bullshit. It's utter embarrassment. And this is not the way you prepare such a final rush to the end of the season. This is not how you do it. This isn't the mentality to prepare not just a normal end of the season, but an end of the season where we need to be qualifying for the Champions League, where we need to give it our all best in the Europa League. And by doing this, you look at the calendar of games we have, and you're scared. Like today, the game ended, you look at the next games we have, and you shit your pants. That's what every Roma fan does today. Because today, you are scared. Because if this is the Roma that turns up in any of the following games, we lose all of the next games. Switch up. The international break was last week. Christmas was 3 months ago. Easter was yesterday. Today was a new game and you bottled it. Because today you had to win to not only restart with the good pedal, but prepare the best way possible for what is possibly one of the most complicated ends of the season that Roma's ever played. But again, look, you know what? I want to curse today. I'm not gonna curse, but I want to curse. I want to throw everything out today. I am not going to, but there is one thing that I will say before analysing our game and giving thoughts about our game. One thing that I will say is this. Today, we gifted Bologna a Champions League spot. today with this draw against Lecce, which by the way is a useless draw. If anybody is celebrating a draw against Lecce, no, let's get back to the realistic side of things, because today we lost. Today we didn't lose on the pitch. Today we lost, however, because we had to win. But today, we gifted Bologna Champions League football. Bologna are in the Champions League. Bologna are going to get third. The race is no longer with Bologna against Bologna, because Bologna are not losing games. We are hoping, and we've been hoping that they lose games 4 months ago. And every time we keep hoping this, they keep on winning points. Bologna are better than Juventus, and Bologna are going to qualify third this season. The real tournament now is between us, Juventus, Atalanta, and potentially Lazio if they win the derby. If we win the derby, then Lazio won't be in this race. But if we lose the derby, not only do we put Lazio back in this, but if we lose the derby on Saturday, we're not going to qualify for the Champions League. And it's sad that this is already a last call, but this is unfortunately the sad result of getting 28 points in the first 18 games of the league. This is unfortunately the problem. This is the consequence of the poorest first half of the season that this team has had since 2003. The consequences are this, because the consequences are now that whatever point we lose, even if it's 1 point or 2 points or 3 points, the next game is a last call because of all the numerous points that we lost in the first half of the season. This is not good enough. This is not good enough. Bologna are going to get third. Bologna are going to get third. Do I want them to get third? No. But Bologna deserve to get third way more than Juventus. And they are going to get third because they're playing Juventus at home, and they're going to beat Juventus at home. And they're like 2 points from Juventus. It's incredible to see how fast things change. The thing which comes out of this game is exactly this. It's how quickly things change from positive to negative. Because last week we were on a fucking moon. Like last week, all of us were like, we've got good chances of qualifying to the Champions League. Flash forward 1 week, we draw 0-0 against Lecce. I don't think anybody sees us in the Champions League today. It's very interesting and also quite depressing to see how quick we change, how quick our hype changes. Because ultimately there's this meme that goes around that it was sent in the fan forum. So if you're in the fan forum, you'll know what I'm speaking about. But there's this meme that gets thrown out on Twitter every time that the life of a Roma fan is a triangle. Hopes are down, hopes start building back up, we're on the moon. And then we're back down. Hopes are down, then we grow a bit, and then we're the best team in the world, and then we're back down. Unfortunately, after such a result, we're back down. Last week we were up there, this week we're down here. It's a roller coaster. It's like a broken roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster with no brakes. The life of a Roma fan is a roller coaster with no brakes. That's what it is. Because, today's game, I could have sat and watched David Attenborough speak for 4 hours straight, and I would have had more fun. I mean, today's game, let's focus on today's game, because it feels like I'm rambling. Today's game, oh Lord, we could not string one pass together. We couldn't string one pass together. We couldn't pass the ball correctly once. We couldn't shoot on target once. We couldn't defend properly once. We couldn't run. We had no lungs. We had no breath. It looks like we ate 7 turkeys yesterday for Easter and we're forced on the pitch. I can't do this anymore. That's what this game was, which is what I'm saying. This is the worst game I've seen Roma play in the last 2 years in terms of the level that we have played this game in. Because everything that we could have gotten wrong today and that we could have improved in the second half only tended to get worse. And also, I am going to blame substitutions and formations. I think De Rossi has a bit of blame in this. Of course, primary blame is the players because they look like zombies today. They could have been a Walking Dead cast and nobody would have noticed. But De Rossi does deserve a bit of a blame here because yes, okay, the plan was to not risk Dybala, preserve him for the derby, which is fully understandable. We need to win on Sunday, not because we didn't win this game, but also because we can't not win in other derby. We need to get back on the throne, having the keys of this city. We need to win on Saturday. The derby on Saturday is the most important game of the season so far. It is, on both a human level, fan level, pride level, and Champions League level. It's massive. And we're forced to win it, because if we don't win it, then we're not getting Champions League. It's how fast things changes when you're a Roma fan. But yeah, what we were saying, De Rossi deserves some blame, because you cannot, I know it's Lecce, again, it's understandable to have a few substitutions. And in fact, you're probably going to tell me, well, if you don't make the substitutions against Lecce, when will you ever make the substitutions? And I agree. But starting a football game with Lukaku, Zalewski, and Baldanzi is like playing pool with somebody with no arms. It really is, because Zalewski isn't a football player. I've come to this conclusion. I have come to the final conclusion that Zalewski can't play football. Because the more I see Zalewski play football, the more my eyes get bleached. He's good with the Polish national team. Whenever he plays with Lewandowski for the Polish national team, we all get our hopes up, because we start to compare him with, I don't know, Kolarov, and then he's back in Rome and he has a mental breakdown. And he just cannot play well for this team. Which is what I'm saying, and which is what I said last week in the keep, bench, sell video. If we get a 30 million offer for Zalewski, sell him. I mean, if we get a 30 million offer for Zalewski, I'll be the rider. I'll be the guy. I'm gonna ship him. I'm gonna pack him, put the address, ship him to you in person. Which we'll never get 30 million for Zalewski, but if we do, let's say Premier League teams are fanatics. Let's say they offer 30 million for Zalewski, blindfolded, pack him, send him away, because Zalewski is not a football player. He isn't. I'm keeping on giving it time. Give him time, let him orientate on the new position. It's been 3 months now that he's been playing as a winger, and he can't do anything. So, look, Zalewski is one of the players that we need to sell this summer. And then look, don't get me started with that Dutch right fullback that we have, who plays with a number 2 on his back, Karsdorp. Karsdorp today, chop his balls. Karsdorp today is like, oh my lord, what is the utility of having a player like Karsdorp? Some of these players, when we're all hyped and all of that, they look good. But when you actually study things and realize that some of them aren't good enough, you tend to realize how bad they are. Karsdorp and Zalewski are something that they could do a race against each other to who is worse, because they are actually terrible. It's throwing up. Watch them throw up. And again, look, of course, I'm going to be a bit delusional and say that I am saying these comments because we're coming from such a terrible game. And if Zalewski scores on Saturday against Lazio, I'll be the first one to say, keep Zalewski this summer. It's because of hype. Football is also crude reactions and all of that. But I hope I'm not the only one who keeps on giving chances to these players and they just don't perform. Another one, Aouar. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna say this was his last chance, because it isn't. But we're very close to me giving Aouar my last chance. Like, if this wasn't his last chance, the next game is his last chance. Because he got subbed in, 20 minutes to go, he devoured that goal. How do you miss such a chance? How do you throw it? You've got a 10-meter goal, he threw it on Falcone's nose. Like, he could have shot that ball anywhere. Top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left. He literally threw and broke Falcone's nose. It could have been 1-0. That is what I mean. He lacks the killing instinct. Because he has got the talent and he's got the technique. He does not use it properly. He doesn't use it properly. And then look, moving on. Midfielders today. Cristante Paredes today were literally like Peter Griffin and Lois Griffin. They were disgusting to watch, extremely slow, not one correct pass. They just slow the transition so much. Look, coming down to a conclusion, you know what is the worst thing about today's game? It's the result, because we're all hyped up and all of that. But you know what deep down is the worst thing about today? Actually seeing this team play even worse than what they did under Mourinho. Like, all of a sudden, today was like prime 2010 Mourinho. The tactics today were nowhere to be seen. It was like playing hide and seek. Zalewski goes nowhere. He's a star that can take Roma to Serie A title. All Roma players are better than Messi. It's Mourinho's fault you're not winning against relegation teams. Mate, if Zalewski brings us to a Serie A title, then my name isn't Simo. Moving on. These two made Cristante Paredes terrible today. Lukaku terrible today. But again, I'm gonna defend Lukaku today as well. I'm gonna put the face in this and defend Lukaku today. He has been dreadful because he's been dreadful today. Everybody was dreadful today. But I'm gonna defend Lukaku and say that he's actually the one who, out of 90 minutes, has got the less blame. Because go watch that game all over again from the first minute. From the first minute, Lukaku is isolated up front from minute one. And that is unfortunately the problem when Pellegrini and Dybala don't play behind him. When Pellegrini and Dybala don't play behind him, Lukaku is stranded by himself. He is stranded by himself. And that's exactly why we need, if we don't have Dybala and Pellegrini and these are the players around our number 9 needs to be a pivotal striker. If we need to play with Zalewski, Baldanzi and Aouar around Lukaku, then we need a striker like Zirkzee who can drop down, keep the ball and set the play. Because if you have a player like Lukaku and around him you've got players like Baldanzi, Aouar and Zalewski, Lukaku is not going to touch one ball because he gets no support and he gets no service. Which is why Lukaku only plays well with Dybala and Pellegrini behind him. If Lukaku doesn't have these two players behind him, you can keep him there for 1 year straight and he wouldn't score a goal. Bove didn't play well today at all, I agree. But really, nobody played well today. There isn't somebody which I saved. Today's performance was... In fact, look, I'll say Zvilor, because if it wasn't for Zvilor today, we would have lost. We should not... Nobody is happy, but we shouldn't accept the fact that we equalized this game, that we drew this game. Drawing this game is bad. Let's just go through the calendar that we've got coming up over the next month. From the 1st of April to the 1st of May. The season ends the 20th of May, around-ish the 20th of May. Let's not look at the broad image. Let's just look at 1 month from now. 1st of April, let's look at the games that we'll play until the 1st of May. Okay? Let's just look at the table. Let's just look at our next games over the course of the next month. Lazio at home. Milan away in the Europa League. Udinese away. Bologna at home. Milan at home. Napoli away. If the Roma had turned up today, which it won't be this, it will not be this, but if the Roma that turned up today turns up to any of these games, we're going to get 0 points on Saturday, 0 points at San Siro, 0 points against Udinese, 0 points against Napoli, and 0 points against Bologna. Because today, a group of priests in my local church, the games that they organize every Sunday morning before Mass, would have played better than us. Look, I'm gonna tell you this. It's now the 1st of April, and I have named the next games that we have over the next month. I am going to predict you all the results that we get over in these next games. Lazio at home, we win. Milan away in the Europa League, we lose. Udinese away, we win. Milan away, we win. But again, I don't know who goes through because we lose one, we win one in my opinion. So it all depends on goals. Bologna, we draw. Napoli, we win. I've predicted, I have predicted the next month of football for Roma. I'm going to keep this over here. Win 3, win 4, lose 1, draw 1. It's wishful thinking, but I think these will be our results. On Saturday, look, let's throw this out right now. We lose on Saturday, we're not in the Champions League. Saturday is a first last call. Because if we lose on Saturday, Atalanta's got a game in hand, which they will win against Fiorentina. Bologna keep on advancing. Juventus might keep on crumbling down. Atalanta keep on grinding points. You lose on Saturday, you're not in the Champions League. You win on Saturday, not only you win a derby, but you start the momentum for what will be and what will continue to be a very complicated month of football. And then we've got May. Because our complicated fixture don't end in April. They end in May. Breathe. Game by game. We bottled this chance. We had to win. And had we won today's game, we would have been with our ass on a cold pillow. We would have been on the perfect position had we won today. We didn't win today. We move on. We can't reminisce the past. We bottled and played terribly. We move. Head needs to be on Saturday because we, fans, will not accept yet another non-won derby. On Saturday, one result. On Saturday, there's only one objective. There's only one result. There's only one acceptable result for all Roma fans. And that's not a draw. That's a win. You gotta destroy them. You gotta strangle them. You're gonna get their testicles and squeeze them. Because I have had enough of losing derbies. And I'm going to say this now 5 days before that game. I'm going to be fuming if we don't win. Because the derby means a lot. The derby means a lot for this city. And it means a lot for De Rossi. And I'm very curious to see how De Rossi prepares this. No more excuses. On Saturday, you win. You win. If not having won today means winning on Saturday, fine. I'm going to put my name on it. But you gotta destroy them on Saturday. You have to squeeze their testicles. They've got a new manager. They won in last second against Juventus. They're gonna be hyped. They're way more hyped than us at time of speaking. But you gotta destroy them. And the last thing that I blame about today, before ending the stream, is international break. Whoever is the genius who came up with the idea, you know what? Let me break up the rhythm of club football to play some useless friendly games that will last 1 week and a half, and then let's continue with club football after 1 week and a half, so that everything goes to plan. And you know what? Let me add one thing. Italian national team playing a friendly game against Ecuador. Let me place the friendly game in Miami, Florida. Let the Italian national team get an 8-hour plane ticket flight to all across the ocean, all across the globe, to play a 90-minute game, the most useless game in the history of football against Venezuela, and then let me move them up to New York against Ecuador, and then let me fly them back. Fuck climate change. Fuck club football. I don't give a fuck. Whoever you are, if you came up with this, you gotta be jailed. You have to be jailed. You have to be jailed because international breaks break the rhythm. I would have accepted a 1-0 win today like anything else because it's understandable. You're back, a lot of these players, transatlantic flights to play a friendly game, understandable. You might not be that perfect, but you win. I would have accepted a 1-0 win today. I don't normally do, but today I would have. But not having won today is criminal. And part of this blame is part of the organisation of these international games. Had we played this game 2 weeks ago, we would have won 3-0. Full stop. Let's read some comments and then we'll end the stream. In the meantime, don't forget to hit the like. It supports the channel a lot. In preparation for the derby, if you're ready, 5 days to go until the biggest game of the season. Hit the like. Make yourself loud. And yeah. Bob and Zaleski from Roma youth team. The only 3 players who were alright were Mancho, Baldanzi, and especially Zvelar, doesn't it sound? I agree. Feels like we're way too tired to carry on until the end of the season. Deja vu's all over. They need to take a deep breath and start experimenting with players that haven't played much and bench the others. Says Brolic, the only players who were decent were Baldanzi, Angelino, and Zvelar. The rest were unwatchable, and I'll become very clear that we are a Pellegrini-oriented team. I agree. Baldanzi, I think, created, but until Baldanzi doesn't build some mass, he will be useless to these games because he gets moved way too easily. Simo, you said in November that Bologna will collapse. Mate, I've been dreaming of Bologna collapsing since October. The more I dream about this, the more they win games. So I've kind of decided not to believe in this anymore. If they collapse, they collapse. If they go in the Champions League, they go in the Champions League. All of that I'm aware is that at time of speaking, it's way easier to catch Juventus than it is Bologna. Because Juventus don't play football and it's way easier for them to bottle results. If Bologna keep on playing like this, they will grind results. It's the law of football. So it's way easier to catch Juventus than Bologna right now. We're not ready for Champions League. Looks like Europa League is our maximum. I hope not. We're going to squeeze everything we have. This team is naturally always going to finish fifth. They simply are not good enough, says Saint. De Rossi shows his coaching experience. It was nice while it lasted with Grinta and all, but we lack football ideas at the moment. Not necessarily lacked. I think we played a good month of football. We did, and you get a credit to him. It's normal after an international break to play like this, a bit less sharp. It's not normal to play this bad, and it's not normal not to get 3 points today. But at the end of the day, I'm going to continue saying this. Yes, inexperienced decisions and all of that, but until the day I die, if we don't get Champions League football, it will never be De Rossi's fault at the end of the season. Today was dreadful. This is the worst performance under De Rossi. This is the worst performance that we've played in 2024 to make it better, to be honest. Shame on Roma today. War should have started. Same with Stefan El-Shaarawy. That's on De Rossi. Bove and Zaleski were terrible, and Lukaku, my God, send him back. Don't ever think of paying his wages as LB. Zaleski had 2 grand names in Polish national, got to the Euro. He was man of the match in both and he gave his all. Maybe he was not to be played today. Maybe it's on DDO, not on Zaleski. Says Jacob. Zvelar on his way to become prime Casillas. Barbaros's form really can't grow young players. Can't blame him. It's not been playing much lately. It's all Mourinho's fault that we're suffering for him, says Imadri. Zaleski goes nowhere. You can complain all day that it's Mourinho's fault you don't win against relegation teams. DDR is Rossi Bowl. Enjoy Zaleski. April Fool is De Rossi. What the fuck is he saying? 90 minutes and we only had 1 chance, but I hope this isn't our last chance. We still have time to fix our mistakes. And Dika does miss the derby indeed. I hope Lazio will be easy work. If we turn up, it's our stadium 5 days from now. Forza Roma. Bologna in the Champions League is like putting a Serie B team in the Europa League. Yeah, look, but they deserve it. You know, they do. It's bad to see, and especially Italian football image, it is bad because that's the reason we don't win Champions. That's why Italian teams don't win the Champions League, because we're so inconsistent in bringing good teams and teams that can actually win it in it. Right, I'm going to catch you tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to the channel, follow Roma Theory on Instagram over at Roma Theory TV. And yeah, bad game, but we move. At the end of the day, we're Roma fans. What can we do? Talk to you soon. Subscribe would be great. And yeah, also comment down below your thoughts. I'll be very curious to read them all. See you all out.